Hey guys, how's it going? So today I have a little bit of an unconventional video that I wanted to make for no specific reason than just I guess share my opinion and talk it through with you guys. So disclaimer, if you're a little sensitive to touchy subjects and if you're offended easily, maybe go check out my other lovely videos about pets, because this one is gonna be rough around the edges. It's purely my opinion about the subject, how I view it, how I analyze the subject, but if you get offended easily, perhaps go check out my other videos about pets. So if you're new to this channel, I suggest you subscribe and hit that bell button because I release weekly videos, or at least I try, about pets, fish, tortoises, my dog, vlogs of nature, my life, my opinions, apparently so. And yeah, so let's get this show started. Alright, so about 6 months ago, or a little less than that, I posted on YouTube my first video about my ex-vegan story, how I was plant-based for most of my life, and how I completely turned it around because it made me super ultra sick. Actually, if you want to see this video and the few others that followed, check out here or here. I will try to include it either way. So the first video was about me just transitioning, healing from it in the few months that followed my ultimate time that I was really sick. And then I posted a video about a month ago about the update, how I'm doing. Obviously I'm doing well, I'm still alive, I'm energetic. Weird fact, I wake up so early nowadays. It's just, maybe I'm turning into superhuman, I don't know. So basically I went from super plant-based to super ultra carnivore because I realized that my body just couldn't digest any of the plants, grains, and most fruits, unfortunately. Even though I really enjoy fruits, it just doesn't go through. So I brought some notes today because I want to kind of have it along a good timeline so you understand why I'm telling you all this. The title of this video is Meat. Is it violence? Is it bad? What is meat, and why nowadays in our culture we interpret it as violence and murder? By the way, I don't disagree, it is both. But let's get it started. So, okay. So this whole discussion started when my employee, we were just driving around, we were in traffic, we saw a few cops, and he said, you know, like, there's a lot of police violence. He's actually from China, mainland, and he's been here a couple of years. And he noticed that in America, there's, well, America, Canada, the Americas, we have a lot of police brutality and, you know, a lot of corruption. I'm not saying what corruption, you just understand, like, sometimes things escalate quickly. And we're talking about, you know, that some people just get beat up for no reason in the streets, and I already had a little bit of an opinion on that, how it happens, why it happens, but I believe in every area where there's power there will be violence, whether it's the police, like anyone in power, your superiors at work. What I think, and this is based actually on the movie, I'll tell you in just 1 second. I believe that 90% of people that, if they're put in a situation of power, will end up going overboard with that power and just, hey, I have power, I'm allowed to do more with it, I'm allowed to intimidate more, I'm allowed to be a bit more violent, where this video is going. So 90% of people will react that way at some point, even though they don't want it in the beginning. At some point there'll be this trigger that they will do something inadequate to the situation. They will react in the position of power. Actually, I don't know if you have seen that movie, but during our talk I referenced to this movie. It's a German movie, it's called The Experiment. It was translated in English to The Experiment, and it's about 10 years old or so, maybe a little bit more. I was still in my 20s when I first saw it, and I'm not sure it was brand new back then. The experiment basically was the experiment of taking regular civilians and putting them in a jail setting, and half of them were guards and half of them were prisoners. And what do you think happened with general normal civilians? Well, spoiler alert, the guards abuse power and start abusing the prisoners. So it's just a movie about anyone in power will end up taking more than they originally thought or others thought. So whether it's physically, mentally, fiscally, power and violence is present in pretty much everywhere, everything. So aside that, just to ask you, from me to you, have you ever been in a situation where someone really pissed you off, made you really mad, and the first thing you thought of, or something along those lines, I want to rip this guy's head off? I mean, it happens to everyone. It could even happen between you and a friend, or usually a co-worker or a boss. You felt that need for violence, and I'm not condoning violence. Just so you know, this is not going there. I'm just saying we have a need for violence. It's part of us because we're humans and we're animals. We have a need for violence in the sense that we watch MMA, we watch cockfighting or participate in cockfighting. It's illegal, but whatever. Dogfighting, we watch wrestling, we watch the toro and the matador, bullfighting, I guess. We also indulge in TV shows such as Viking, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, war things, movies such as Jigsaw. All these is just to feed our need for violence. No matter how much you can be peaceful of a person, you'll still indulge in this because you cannot just be peaceful. You have to be yin yang. Well, you don't have to, but as humans, we are creatures of the earth, and every single creature on earth is violent, including plants, because some plants will eat mosquitoes. Speaking of which, watch this. I went up north and got totally devoured by mosquitoes, and they didn't think twice about eating me. So I was there in the nature just gardening, and I got completely eaten alive by mosquitoes. Do you think animals think twice before eating you? No, there's not a single animal that thinks twice about their own survival when it comes to eating or hurting another animal. Every single animal will first assure their survival, and there will be no ethics involved. Where I'm heading with that is that in recent years, the last 20 years or so, meat has become diabolized as this horrible thing. Meat is murder. Meat is violence. Of course it is. It is. But we need meat to survive. The more we repress our need for meat, the more violent we'll become. Just look at Freely the banana girl, how angry and violent she is. I was also on a plant-based for over 20 years, and I also had my outbursts, and I didn't analyze things properly, and I would just jump to conclusions. Not that I was ever violent, but the peace I have inside me now is much more composed than the anger I had when I was depriving myself of animal foods, animal products. You'll notice that many people that resort to violence actually don't eat enough meat. They hate kids. I mean, not every vegan or plant-based hates kids, but look at how they promote vasectomies, abortions, population control. Not that we're not overpopulated, we are. But wait, that's another story. I'm just saying, they don't want humans to exist, hence they promote this grain diet. And the worst part, okay, I have a raw-fed dog. She's a wonderful dog, I love her. She hunts, yes, she hunts little animals that she eats. But what makes me extremely unsatisfied with the humans right now is that they're trying to convert cats and dogs to eating plant-based. Did you ever see a lion go eat a dandelion? or a lettuce? No, no, you don't do that. A lion will eat whatever it can catch, whatever can sustain themselves. And so should we. We shouldn't be so offended by eating meat. There's ways of killing, but then again, cats will play around with their mice, lions will play around with their prey, a bear will play around with you if you're in his territory. It's just part of natural animal behavior. We are animals. We're so close to most animals that we're 75% the same DNA as a clownfish. Never mind all the mammals. We're so close to them all. And I don't understand why we're trying to disconnect ourselves so much, pretending we're human, pretending humans are not part of the animal kingdom, that we live off air and sunlight. I mean, why do we do this to ourselves? Why are we trying to kill ourselves? Speaking of killing, so many babies have died from being put on the vegan or plant-based diet. So many animals, cats, dogs, now they're making brands of animal food, plant-based. It makes me extremely angry because mosquitoes didn't think twice about attacking me. Any animal will not think twice before feeding themselves, and violence is absolutely everywhere. When a lion takes over a pride, when he defeats another lion, he kills all the babies of the previous lion just because his genetics are stronger. He won that war. I'm not saying you have to become violent. I just want you to understand how close we are to the animals that hunted for survival. And I do believe that if we stop relying on grocery stores or butchers to get our meat, our sustenance, and went out there and starved for a few days and felt extremely hungry, because be honest, in the forest you'll not have a grocery full of 50 types of ingredients to compensate for that missing protein that is in meat. You'll just sit in that forest and you'll be like, what can I trap? What can I eat? You'll start with bugs, worms, then you'll go for a rabbit, then you'll try to fish. Because in the wilderness, veganism doesn't exist. It doesn't exist for humans. I tried for 20 years to kill myself on vegetables, and plants don't want to be eaten either. Plants have phytates and oxalates, if I remember correctly, and this basically ruins your digestion and takes the minerals out of your system in order for you to feel sick and never touch those plants again. It can take years until it kicks in, but slowly and gradually go down and be sick as me and crawl on the floor and wonder what happened. I've been eating wonderful plant-based diet all my life. I've been so healthy. I've been eating my salads every day, and I'm freaking dying on the floor and just crying, and every single organ is shutting down. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Who is doing this to ourselves? Did it happen after the world wars where we didn't have any more meat and we resorted to carbohydrates to sustain ourselves? Who is killing who here? If you don't feed yourself properly, you will end up feeding yourself to yourself. You will start eating yourself. And I'm not over exaggerating. It will come to that point, and I would just want to make sure I'm covering everything. Yeah, one thing I wrote down is, we always say, oh, but what about the animals? I feel bad for the animals. People are starting to break into farms to liberate animals. You know how many farm animals there is now because of agriculture and farming? If you release all these animals, one, they'll take over the earth. Two, they'll have nothing to eat because, three, they're probably gonna get eaten by other carnivorous animals since we refuse to eat them. Or four, the most logical thing that humanity will do is just kill off all these farm animals so we don't have to reproduce them and torture them anymore. They'll end up dead one way or the other. And when I was young, actually, I googled so many things when I was young. You know, farm animals will eat you if they could, because top 5 best ways of getting rid of a body. I told you that wasn't for the faint of heart. I googled that once, how to get rid of a body. You know, I was a teenager, I'm like, whatever, I'm watching all these TV shows. And one of the top points is, if you feed a dead body to the pigs, they'll make it disappear, bones included. So your cute little piglets will eat you if they have a chance. Even if you're injured and you fall into a place where there's pigs, they will eat you and not think twice. So why are we demonizing meat so much then? If every single animal on this planet, given the opportunity, will eat us, yet we have become these breatharian beings that live off sunlight and air. While we're dying inside, our mentals are getting crushed. The more you deprive yourself of essential nutrients, the more you go cuckoo. And I've been there. My mental clarity hasn't been as good as now, like ever. Like I said in the beginning of my video, I've turned into an amazing version of myself. I'm always happy. I'm always waking up early, energetic. I always have time to do whatever I have to do. I got new projects I want to start and I conclude them. This was not me 6 months ago when I was sick. It wasn't, because I was starving myself on grains, legumes, and leafy greens that create toxins to kill you because they don't want to get eaten either. So on all this point, yes, meat is violence, and yes, the animal kingdom is violent, and every single ancestor that brought you here has fought really hard to survive, and has hunted and has killed and has done horrendous things in our normal 21st century perspective in order for you to be here right now. And the way we're honoring that is by starving ourselves on these cuckoo diets of the cuckoo doctors. They're skinny, that their eyes are sinking in, with their kids dying off. Like, by the way, I'm not mad at the vegans because I used to be one. I used to be there. I'm just trying to say, please try other alternatives. And factory farming isn't the solution. Clearly it isn't. The best solution is go off grid and hunt for yourself, you know? Make sure that all populations of animals are at adequate levels, not just go for the cow, you know? Like, we're meant to eat pretty much anything. Bugs, fish, eggs, any types of meat, ruminant animals, carnivorous animals. We're meant to just hunt. But since that's not available for everybody that lives in the city, at least promote good farming, good, like, people that know how to do that properly, and maybe go see some of these farms that you're getting your meat at, and make sure it's all regulated. And if you need to experience it for yourself, buy a cow or buy a mutton and slaughter it yourself. I know it sounds horrible right now in this video, and I'm not a violent person, zero. I hate violence, but I acknowledge it. The need to feed yourself is more important than saving another being. You will not save anyone if you die yourself. So, man, I'm intense today. But I didn't mean it in any wrong way. Everyone's entitled to each other's opinion, but eat or get eaten. That's, you know, like dog eat dog world. It's pretty much that. Like, everywhere you go, you're gonna see some forms of violence, and we cannot get to the light if we don't acknowledge the darkness, you know. It doesn't mean we have to torture animals in the process, you know. There's ways of doing it, there's ways of doing it right, but without killing all humanity. And another point that most of these carnivore or keto channels don't cover is, the more we feed ourselves crap, the more our genetics will be crap, and our kids will have crap genetics. And we'll just be sicker and sicker and sicker as time goes on. Did you notice how many more diseases there's now? Like genetic, like all types of weird disease coming out. And it's getting harder and harder for medicine to follow all these diseases. We didn't have those diseases before. Well, yes, we would just die off. But then again, if we weren't so many, we just like breed ourselves better, I guess, in a way. I'm trying to communicate something quite clear in my head, but you understand, like, if we kill off our good genetics by eating crappy food and having a crappy lifestyle, what are we leaving for the children of this earth? You know, I don't have kids, but if I ever have any, I certainly won't put them on a plant-based diet. Let me tell you, we'll probably buy a farm and I'll teach them how to do everything. You know, I don't want no more sick people. And if you don't want to see your loved ones die of these high sugar diets, they're just, did you know that cancer is mainly fueled by sugar? There was not as much cancer before. Look, dogs and cats are dying of cancer because we put sugar and grains in their food. And now it's even worse, complete plant-based, like for pets. Why are you doing this to the planet? So that was my rant of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you agree, comment. If you don't agree, comment also. I'll try to do more of those vlog videos. It's just opinions I want to share. Like, it comes out, you know, my own violence comes out by sharing what I think, because the more you mute people, the more they get angry, the more it comes out in all the wrong ways. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope to see you soon in another video. Alright, see you soon. Bye.
Oh, 1 mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright.